thrilled today to be speaking to Zoë Chicco, who is a fabulous sustainable designer, jewelry designer. I mean, your piece is absolutely beautiful. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm
Oh,
excited to be here.
oh, so likewise. So what was your inspiration, Zoë, to get started in jewelry?
So it's all that I ever wanted to do. It's the only career I ever wanted to have. When I was like a little girl, my grandmother wore tons and tons of jewelry. Like every finger, had rings. Her bracelets were all over, all of her wrists. And so she was truly my like inspiration. I would go over to her house and like go through her jewelry box and like look at everything. And I just fell in love with jewelry. So when I was really little, I started like making my own pieces. My mom still has some of them. They're very special, mostly found objects taped and glued together. She showed me something the other day that she found that I was just like, oh my gosh, I remember this thing. It's like a camera lens cap with like a penny and a key and like just weird found objects all glued onto it. And then I taped a safety pin on the back. And like, that was the first of my brooches. So I was always making jewelry from the time I was very little. And then I got a little bit more serious when I was in high school because I had a jewelry teacher or an art teacher who started teaching jewelry in my high school. And I was lucky enough to be there for the first year that they offered that. So I took that class and I just like absolutely fell in love with it. So I took 2 years of jewelry in high school. And then when I went to college, I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, can I make a career of this? Is this a thing? And so I was an art major in college with a jewelry metalsmithing concentration. And that's all I ever did. I got out and I was a bench jeweler for a couple of years. And then I was always doing my own work. And then in 2000 is really when I kind of call it is when I really started, because that's when I was became independent and I didn't work for anybody else. And I just started doing all my own work. So yeah, it was like one track mind from the beginning that's what I wanted to do.
I love that. I love that story that you knew from such a young age and you've never wavered from that. I mean, that's really inspiring. Yeah. I love it.
Thank you.
And you started in your apartment, right? When you went independent, yes. You were making pieces in your closet?
Yes. It wasn't a walk-in closet. There was a swivel chair and I sat there and I had my jewelry bench with my soldering on my bench. And then if I needed, and I could turn the chair and then I had a little polishing wheel, turn the chair the other way, sanding. That was it. Like you couldn't walk in the room. So it was actually like a landing. Like if you know San Francisco apartments, we're on the third floor and there's like a landing to go down to the basement. That landing was my office. Or my studio, I should say. So I was there for a couple of years. And then my roommate moved out, my boyfriend moved in. So we had an extra bedroom and that was like, I got to have like a full room, So then I moved into a room, graduated to a room. And for the first 5 years, I did everything myself. I didn't have an employee until I was about 5 years in. But as for selling, I would just like go around door to door to stores. And then about a year into that, I did start working with an outside rep, which was amazing. That was like a game changer for me. So she would go around to stores for me. She was a much better salesperson than I was, and sell it that way. And then I started doing some trade shows and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got my start. This is 20 years ago. So, I mean, there was no social media. There was nothing like that. Like that's how you had to like get it out there. It was just like trade shows or cold calling, sending things in the mail, that's how you did it back in the day. And so, yeah, I just did that for years, and as I said, about 5 years in, I hired my first employees, but they were mostly just doing, helping me with like paperwork and shipping and sales and stuff like that. And then eventually I got a little bit bigger and we moved to Los Angeles. And I started to hire like one jewelry helper, like part-time, wasn't even the bench. I think it was like a friend who I like taught how to make. Actually, I know exactly what it was. It was a friend's brother who needed a job. And I hired him and just showed him how to make this like one necklace at the time. I was selling tons of them. And I was like, I just need help making this necklace. It's really labor intensive. And then I would realize, I'm like, okay, you know what? If I delegate and I have more people helping me, I can actually get a lot more done. Imagine that. And so just started hiring, slowly but surely as the business grew, hiring more people and developing our team. And now it's a much bigger business. And I'm really, really thankful. But it's like, as I said, from It started it really from the ground up. We've never had any funding or anything like that. My husband helped me from the time he was my boyfriend. He was like doing my books. Like we're very much a bootstrappy company still to this day, but it's just grown considerably since the days in the closet.
I love that. Yeah, you know, from closet to global accessory empire. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty proud of
it. Now, why is it important to you that your collection is ethical?
Well, I mean, it's such an important thing today anyway. I feel like in all aspects of my life, I'm trying harder to be better about, being green and being ethical and thinking about where things come from and all of this, and our customers are too. So it's not only important to me personally, but it's important to our customers. And so, you want to do the best that you can. I mean, all the gold that we use is recycled. We recycle all our gold. We make everything in-house in our studio still. So it's not just me in a closet anymore, but we do have like 15 bench jewelers, everything we make in-house. And so, we're using raw materials and stuff like that, but we get them from companies who have their own recycling capabilities. So we know that everything we're using is being recycled. We send stuff back to them to recycle as well. So that's really important and feels really good. And we always remove stones so we can use them again. We do. All the diamonds we use are conflict free. I work with a really reputable diamond dealer who has offices in Los Angeles and in India, and they're wonderful. I mean, a lot of people work with them. They're, have an amazing reputation. We get everything from them. So we know where it's coming from, and can feel good about that. And we're doing our best to also just reduce our carbon footprint. Like we made an option on our website to reduce packaging, anything you kind of think of that we're what can we do to do better? We try to implement. And we've even had suggestions. I mean, it's funny, the thing on our website with reduced packaging was from a customer. It was a DM that we got. And, fine jewelry usually comes in a nice box with the pouch and this, and, we have all that and we do that. And that's how we were shipping everything. And someone wrote and they're is all this necessary? I feel like it's, you should be reducing what you're sending and it's a little bit wasteful. And I was like, they're right. I mean, this is the kind of the expectation and the norm. So I don't want to just not do it, but I'm well, we should give our customers the option of having it or not. If they don't want to get the box and this and that, we should do a much more reduced packaging. And so we did. We added that to the website. And it's you can pick if you want to have reduced packaging, you can. So it's just things like that where it's we're always trying to do better, and make a difference in that way. So hopefully we're doing a good job of that. And in terms also just in terms of our employees and everything, we want to make sure we have competitive salaries, everybody gets healthcare, they get paid vacation time, paid family leave, all of that stuff. We just want to make sure we're taking really good care of people, listening to our customers and trying to just do our best.
It's awesome. You're a total pioneer, girl. Between your career journey and now the sustainability initiatives that you are implementing into your brand every day is pretty cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
So and the Reset Collective, let's talk about that.
Yes. 2019, the De Beers Group reached out to myself and 6 other jewelry designers and invited us to go to Botswana to visit the diamond mines and see just their process and their impact on the people in the country of Botswana. And it was, when I say it's mind blowing, I can't even, it was nothing I've ever done. I'm so happy that I had the opportunity and that I took it. Just to see, raw diamonds coming out of the ground, then meeting the people that are then sorting them and cutting them. And it was just incredible. We met with so many different people, from Botswana, from De Beers. It was just a really, really incredible experience. And then they sent us on safari for a few days. So we got that experience, which was insane. It was absolutely incredible. And at the end of the trip, by the time, we went through this really kind of intense trip together. The other jewelry designers that I was there with, we really bonded and had a pretty, we still have a pretty incredible relationship. I think we'll be all of us will be lifelong friends. We decided that we really wanted to do something and collaborate and do something together to kind of commemorate the trip and something that we could give back to the people of Botswana. So we posed it to, it was actually our idea to pose it to De Beers, hey, we want to do something where we auction off pieces, and the money from the pieces will go to different charities where, people of Botswana benefit. And, we want to use stones that came from Botswana. So they were totally on board. It was amazing. They were obviously organized the whole thing, but we did that. So we all designed our own pieces using diamonds from the mine where we were, and then auctioned them off and gave the money to charity. So it was really just an incredible experience, and just such a nice way to, like, the culmination of, like, the whole trip and the whole experience, in a way for us to kind of give back and also do a collaboration together. So it was really an amazing experience, and something I'll never forget.
I love that it all came full circle, and giving back. I think, going to Africa is life-changing, because, it is incredibly different there. And if you're blessed to go on a safari, it'll open your eyes, just to the wonders of the world. I remember when I went, it really sort of made me realize, I'm so little in the cosmos. And in South Africa, I was at a reserve called Tula Tula, and it made me realize, gosh, this wildlife, as man, we think we control everything. We think we're the intelligent species. And then you go on safari and you're getting, you're getting charged by, elephant, or you have to go inside of your bungalow because there's a lion on the loose, and you need to be inside. And you realize, oh my God, I'm so irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, and I'm in their world right now. Right, I'm in their world, and I'm breakfast.
Totally, it really was. I mean, it was incredible. That experience was something like no other. And I came back and I was like, I just want to try to bring my family to have that experience, because it really is so incredibly special, and it really does give you perspective. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm actually reading. Do you know the book, The Cry of the Kalahari?
No.
We went on safari. I don't know if you know it, but it's about these people that lived in the Kalahari for 8 years or something like that. But I'm reading it to my son because it's like very close to where we were, and I'm just like, I want him to, like, have as much of the experience as possible, and it's so interesting, But anyway, that's side note. But yeah, it was an absolutely incredible experience, and anybody who can go. I mean, it's not an easy trip to make, and it's certainly not inexpensive, but it's absolutely life-changing. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. It's a once in a lifetime thing. I'm really lucky. I got to go, and I was actually the last journalist to interview him, but Lawrence Anthony, the conservationist. And so,
oh my gosh,
was his reserve, and he was called the Elephant Whisperer, and I was actually there working with his organization to bring awareness to rhinos at that time, because it was really the rhino slaughters were really ramping up. But it was incredible because we were sitting in his Land Rover, and there's this massive elephant standing just between some trees, thin trees, and this Land Rover here, and he's got the engine running, and there's my bull, and my bull was one of the rogue elephants that forms part of this story of him rescuing this herd of elephants, right? Angry, naughty elephant. Who basically trampled across, a lot of the area, and there was really sort of this to kill this elephant. So a few years later, I'm sitting in Lawrence's Land Rover just having a conversation, and literally just on the other side of a few benches or a few branches is my bull, just eyeballing. And and I said to him, how come he's just hanging there and he's not coming after us? He said, he knows it's me. He knows it's me, the engine. The engine, he recognizes that it's me. And after Lawrence died, he died actually about a month after I came back. And it was heartbreaking because, incredibly moving and beautiful, but so sad. But the elephants actually formed a procession and walked up to his house after he died. And I saw pictures, and obviously I know sort of everybody there. And so they shared with us these elephants that basically just came to pay their respects, because when he rescued them, there'd been a couple of, the babies at the time that had been in the house. So they were all very, very familiar with the landscape and had this really, really incredible relationship with Lawrence. So,
amazing.
I mean, just that's nature. That's why I do all of this stuff, because it's just fascinating to me, the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. Seriously. I mean, I asked similar questions. That's that's an incredible story. And they were about like, are we safe here? And is this okay? And whatever. And it's like, yeah, they're used to, they use the Land Rovers as well, like to drive around the Jeeps or whatever. They're like, they're used to their presence. Like, we don't bother them. They know we're respectful. They know, they see the car, the truck, and they know that that's okay. And it's not going to hurt them, And so it's like, you can, coexist in that way if you're not being threatening, and which was really cool. And that's the same thing with the book I was telling you about as well. Like, these were two people, and they could like walk up to them because they, after time and being there and being in front of the animals, they got used to them and they knew they weren't a threat and they weren't going to hurt them, and then they weren't going to hurt them either, and it was just really incredible and beautiful, and you're absolutely right. I mean, but just that they like knew, on some level is just incredible. The elephants, I mean, that's really gave me chills.
Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience. Anyway, so let's get back to you.
Yes.
On the wonderful world of Los Angeles. Jewelry. So, you have a lot of great celebrity followers. The list reads like a who's who. So you've got Jennifer Lawrence, Mandy Moore, Kristen Bell, Naomi Watts. Tell me a little bit about Charlize Theron. Tell me a little bit about your celebrity clients and why they love your jewelry so much.
Well, I don't know why they love my jewelry. I mean, I hope they love it, because what we strive to do is make pieces that are like easy, wearable, everyday pieces that you just want to add to your collection. That's like the goal always. So hopefully that's why they love it. I assume that's why they love it. But in terms of like, working with them or whatever, it's really nice. It's a very like organic situation. I don't necessarily have them like coming into my studio to see the work. Like, generally what happens is, something is pulled from our publicist through, their stylist to wear for something. But then what happens, which is great because it's really organic and, natural, which is obviously how I like things like that to happen. They really like something. So they'll be like, I really love this piece. Like, can I get it? Can I buy it from you? Which just feels so good. Cause it's like, I'm sure they have stuff around them all the time that they can, have or take or buy or whatever. And all the people that you mentioned have been amazing in that they're like, they want to buy it and then they come back and they want other pieces. And it's a really, really nice, situation when it's that organic and it's not something where it's just like gifted or whatever, that they actually like, I know they love it. They're asking for it. They want to buy it. And it just feels really good. And it's, it's a really big compliment. I mean, I think these women are incredible. So to know that they like love and want to wear my jewelry makes me so happy. So it's a really, really nice part of the business and something that makes it like being in Los Angeles makes that part a lot easier as well.
Yeah. I mean, you are incredibly successful. And just I'm not surprised because your pieces are so beautiful. They really are. Yeah, I've got my eye on a ring for future purchase already.
we can figure that out.
Because it's just everything about your pieces, your designs, everything is stunning. So now tell me about your new collection, because you have some beautiful new pieces. Speaking of the ring that I fell in love with.
Yeah.
Tell us about that, your inspiration, all of it.
Yeah. So it's funny, the things I'm working on right now, I'm celebrating, 2020 was my 20th year in business. So we had a lot of things planned for 2020 that got put on hold a little bit. I was supposed to debut that collection at a trade show last year, but the trade show didn't happen. So everything kind of got pushed this year. So I'm working. So even though it's still the 20th year, so even though it's not 2020 anymore, it's still our 20th anniversary. So I decided to do something really kind of different for me. And I'm working on I'm calling it vintage, but vintage is, the definition of vintage kind of varies depending on who you ask. But In some ways, people are like, if it's 20 years or over, it's considered vintage. So, so I was like 20th anniversary, 20 years old. So, I'm kind of doing a whole reworking of, doing some actual, vintage or even antique pieces that, I'm collecting and reworking. I'm using some of those pieces as an inspiration for a collection. And, I'm also reworking some pieces that are vintage Zoë Chicco pieces that I've had for 20 years in the collection, bringing them back, kind of breathing new life into it. So I'm kind of doing this whole 20th anniversary, like kind of revamp of like what's old is new is kind of what I'm working on. So anything that has like vintage pieces in it is going to be, one of a kind. But anything that I'm reworking from my collection previously, we'll be adding to the collection. And then anything that's kind of inspired by some of the vintage pieces, I'm going to add to the collection as well. So as I said, there'll be one of a kind pieces and then pieces that are in the collection. But so it's kind of fun for me. I've never done something like this. But that's what I'm trying to do. Always mix it up and do something different. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty fun to do one of a kinds. I started doing one of a kind pieces a couple of years ago. And I didn't know if it was going to work because, we tend to, we sell to department stores and stores that have, stock of things and things like that. So I didn't know if it was going to work well, but it's been really great for our specialty stores to be able to have pieces that it's like, this is the only one, so that's been really fun. So I definitely wanted to kind of expand on that idea because I really do enjoy designing that way as well. So
wow,
that's next in terms of that's the collection I'm working on right now.
Wow,
So,
I love it. I love it. So that's what's
you.
next. Anything else we should know
That's
about?
what's next.
Anything else?
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything else to know about. I mean, we're always just trying to think of like what's the next thing, and it's been a really weird year, for everybody. Weird, hard, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we've been lucky in that jewelry seemed to, be a medium that worked fairly well through 2020. So we've been very lucky and thankful for that. But things did start to shift a little bit. We touched on this a little bit earlier, but just like we're really kind of focusing on what's important to us, relationships, transparency, like things like that. And so we are kind of shifting a little bit in some of the ways that we're working. But I think that I'm excited about where everything is going. I'm excited about finally being able to celebrate the 20th anniversary this year. And about, we are going to go to Couture's, the trade show that I do that we were supposed to debut the collection last year that was canceled. And we just decided we are going to do it this year. It's going to be the end of August. So I'm excited just to be like back with, my peers and see my stores and, and all of that. It'll be really nice. So I'm hoping end of August, everybody's vaccinated, feels safe. And it's, kind of safe to kind of go back out and do that kind of thing. I have a feeling, I'm hoping by then, what do you think? I feel like by end of August, people are going to be feeling a little bit more comfortable.
Awesome. Thank you so much for today.
Yes.
Really.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice to chat with you.
Yeah, and best of luck with the new collection, and really excited to see how everything evolves for your brand and your one-off pieces. And we look forward to seeing you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care, Zoe.